In a world where one woman stands between love and destruction, one woman stands between an ordinary soul now faces the greatest storm of ordinary soul of battle. Now faces the greatest storm of her life, but for the very soul, not only for her husband Vihaan's heart, each sunrise, but for the very soul of humanity. And every sunrise brings a new test. Mohana's every sunset grows stronger. Mohana's evil grows stronger. And Gauri's courage becomes the only thread holding her family together. Gauri's courage becomes her journey is no longer about family together. It's about redemption, no longer about survival, and the power of unbreakable love. Sacrifice, but what happens when love itself becomes a weapon? When the person you trust, when love itself most becomes your greatest danger. When the person you trust, when destiny demands, most becomes not your greatest danger, but surrender. When destiny demands, from Saturday, not November 1st, but surrender. 2025. From Saturday, November 15th, 2025, to Saturday, witness November 15th, where 2025. Witness a saga and where hearts break. This is not just a story of witches and warriors. This is not just the story of a woman who dares to challenge the darkness. It is the story of a woman who dares to challenge the darkness within the one she loves. Saturday, November 1st, let the story 2025 episode Saturday, November 1st. Jealousy burns like fire when Gauri finally confronts Vihaan burns like fire when Gauri finally confronts Vihaan turns into rage as she watches her love turns into rage, and her heart cannot bear the thought of losing him again. And her heart cannot bear the anger lies a woman fighting for her truth. Yet beneath that anger lies a woman fighting for her truth. Meanwhile, torn between far away in the shadows, pride. Arjun takes a dangerous far away in the shadows. With trembling hands, Arjun takes he secretly spills a mystical with potion trembling designed to weaken Daavansh. He secretly spills a mystical potion designed to weaken Daavansh. The air during thickens with tension. Dance. The music plays but thickens with tension. The dance floor becomes a silent battleground. Where the dance floor becomes a silent battleground. 103, where beauty hides as the sacred puja episode begins. 103, Gauri tells as the sacred puja begins. Gauri tells of a wife's unbreakable devotion that conquers. The story of a wife's unbreakable devotion trembles with her death itself. And little does she know her voice trembles with living the same fate. And little does she know when the final mantra echoes through the room. Chaos when the final mantra echoes through the room, influenced by dark energies, attacks Daavansh. Influenced in a desperate act of love and protection. In a desperate act of love and protection, saving Vihaan from Gauri, but awakening and even saving Vihaan from harm. Sunday, November 2nd, and 2025 episode. Sunday, November 2nd. Gauri and Vihaan episode working side by side. Gauri managed to imprison Daavansh working side by side of divine managed to imprison Daavansh. Yet when Gauri demands an apology to Gezer. Yet when Gauri demands an apology to Gezer to ease the tension. Vihaan disguises himself to ease the tension. Vihaan disguises himself as Daavansh. But the act leaves his heart heavy with guilt. That night, the act leaves he confesses his sorrow to Gauri. That night, admitting the pain of living between two identities. Admitting the pain of living between two identities. Episode 105. While Gauri prays for peace, Mohana grows restless. While Gauri prays with cold eyes, Mohana she commands Betalini to capture the sacred bird tie. She commands Betalini to capture the sacred as the ritual begins to Gezer's a terrifying revelation as the ritual begins. The family. A terrifying revelation, but his aura has changed. Vihaan his voice. But his aura has changed. Now carries his voice echo. Once soft, the man they loved now is carries no longer the same. The man they loved is no longer the same. Monday, November 3rd, and fear creeps 2025 episode Monday, November 3rd. Shockwaves ripple through the family as Vihaan. Shockwaves ripple through the family defending Mohana as Vihaan instead stands before them. Each word he speaks cuts instead of Gauri's heart like a
Each
blade.
word he speaks
When
cuts
Mohana
through
unveils
Gauri's
the
heart
cruel
like a
truth.
blade.
When
That
Mohana
Vahana
unveils
died
the
and
cruel
Daavansh
truth,
now lives
that Vihaan
within his
has
form.
died, and
Despair
Daavansh
floods the
now
room.
lives within
Gauri
his form.
collapses,
Despair
torn between
floods the
believing
room.
her husband's death
Gauri
or
collapses,
fighting to bring him back.
torn between believing
Episode
her husband's death
107.
or fighting to bring him
Mohana
back.
smirks
Episode
and demands that Gauri
107.
accept her.
Mohana
as
smirks
mother-in-law.
and demands
Refusing
that
to
Gauri
bow
accept
down,
her.
Gauri
as
stands
mother-in-law.
strong.
Refusing
Veena
to
and the
bow
family
down,
rally
Gauri
behind her.
stands strong.
Planning to win
Veena
back
and the
Mohana's
family rally
trust
behind her
and Vahan's soul.
Planning to win
They
back
devise
Mohana's
daring
trust
moves
and Vahan's
combining
soul.
rituals,
They devise
strategy,
daring
and
moves
courage,
combining
to outsmart
rituals,
the Danes.
strategy,
For
and
the first
courage
time,
to
Gauri
outsmart
feels
the
hope
Danes.
returning.
Tuesday,
For the first
November
time,
4th,
Gauri feels hope
2025,
returning.
episode
Tuesday, November
108.
4th,
Mohana
2025,
senses Gauri's
episode
hope
108,
and commands
Mohana
Daavansh to
senses
crush it.
Gauri's
But
hope
Sharada brings
and commands
forth
Daavansh
Permunkor
to crush it.
a mystical
But
flower
Sharada
that
brings
blooms
forth
only
Permunkor,
if Vihaan's
a mystical
spirit
flower
still
that
lives.
blooms
All
only
eyes
if turn to the
Vihaan's
plant,
spirit still
waiting
lives.
for a sign.
All
For a
eyes
fleeting
turn
moment,
to the plant.
a soft
Waiting for a
glow
sign.
appears.
For a fleeting
Proof
moment,
that Vihaan
a
still
soft
exists
glow
somewhere
appears.
deep within.
Proof
Episode
that Vihaan still
109.
exists somewhere deep
That glimmer
within.
of hope
Episode
enrages
109.
Daavansh. He
That
traps
glimmer of
Gauri in a
hope
cage of dark
enrages
smoke
Daavansh.
and
He
destroys
traps
the
Gauri
Permunkor.
in a cage of
Then,
dark smoke
with a single
and
strike of
destroys
the
the
Pishak
Permunkor.
tear, he
Then,
pierces
with a
Sharada,
single strike of the
enslaving
Pishak
her
tear,
under his
he
control.
pierces Sharada,
The house fills with
enslaving her
screams
under
as
his
Gauri
control.
watches
The house
helplessly.
fills with
Her heart
screams
breaking
as Gauri
her
watches
spirit
helplessly.
tested once
Her
again.
heart breaking.
Wednesday, November
Her
5th,
spirit tested
2025,
once again.
episode
Wednesday, November
110.
5th,
Gauri uses
2025,
sheer
episode
willpower to
110.
escape her prison.
Gauri uses
She breaks
sheer
free
willpower
and
to
releases her
escape her
family
prison.
from the shadows.
She breaks
gripping their
free
minds.
and releases
But
her
just as
family from the
freedom
shadows,
returns,
gripping their
Mohana
minds.
gloats.
But just as
Believing
freedom
Gauri's
returns,
hope is
Mohana
dead.
gloats.
Broken yet
Believing
determined.
Gauri's hope
Gauri
is dead.
plays along.
Broken yet
Pretending to
determined.
accept Mohana
Gauri
as her
plays
mother-in-law,
along.
while
Pretending to
secretly
accept
planning her next
Mohana
move.
as her mother-in-law,
Episode
while
111.
secretly planning her next
Mohana
move.
pushes
Episode
Gauri further,
111.
forcing her to
Mohana
choose between
pushes
her divine
Gauri
Rishva
further,
powers,
forcing
or
her to
place
choose
in the
between her
family.
divine
Gauri
Rishva
sacrifices
powers
her
or
powers
place
to
in the
protect her
family.
loved ones.
Gauri
but
sacrifices
secretly begins
her
the
powers
search
to
for
protect
the
her
man
loved
Kalash.
ones.
But
The
secretly
vessel of
begins
purity
the
that
search
can
for the
cleanse
man
darkness
Kalash.
forever.
The vessel of
Thursday,
purity
November
that can
6th,
cleanse darkness
2025,
forever.
episode
Thursday, November
112.
6th,
From the holy
2025,
grounds of
episode
Tekti Temple,
112.
Gauri
From the holy
returns with
grounds of
Vihaan's
Tekti
body
Temple,
revived.
Gauri
A fragile
returns
spark
with
of
Vihaan's
light
body
after
revived.
endless nights of pain.
A fragile spark
Together
of
they
light
search for the
after
man
endless
Kalash
nights
in the
of
watery
pain.
realm
Together
of
they
Jalok,
search for the man
unaware that
Kalash
the
in
monster
watery realm of
Makarasur lurks
Jalok.
nearby,
Unaware that the
waiting to
monster
strike.
Makarasur
Episode
lurks nearby,
113,
waiting to strike.
As they continue their
Episode
search,
113,
Vihaan begins to slip
as they
once
continue
more,
their search.
his voice
Vihaan
deepening,
begins to slip
eyes
once
darkening,
more. His
Davansh's
voice
essence
is returning.
eyes darkening.
Arjun
Davansh's
harsh
essence
is
as
returning.
Makarasur
Arjun
follows
and
Gauri
harsh panic
through the mist.
as Makarasur
Each ripple on the water
follows
carries
Gauri
fear
through the mist.
Each shadow
Each ripple on the
hides
water
an
carries
unseen
fear.
threat.
Each
Friday,
shadow
November
hides
7th,
an unseen
2025,
threat.
episode
Friday, November
114.
7th, 2025.
A simple act turns
episode
deadly
114.
when Rush Me.
A simple
Unaware
act
of the
turns
danger,
deadly, spills
when Rush Me.
enchanted water,
Unaware
that
of the
awakens
danger,
Makarasur.
spills
The
enchanted
creature
water
rises,
that awakens
roaring
Makarasur.
across realms.
The creature
Gauri
rises,
pleads with
roaring
Daavansh,
across realms,
begging him to accept
Gauri
the man
pleads
Kalash's
with
life.
Daavansh,
But
begging him to
Daavansh
accept the man
resists
Kalash's
his
life.
inner battle,
but
tearing him
Daavansh
apart.
resists
Episode
his inner
115,
battle,
tearing him
as
apart.
Makarasur attacks.
Episode
Daavansh
115,
unexpectedly
as Makarasur
shields
attacks.
The act
Daavansh
confuses her.
unexpectedly
Is
shields
Vihaan
Gauri.
still inside him?
The act
Pratham
confuses
Vanshi,
her. The
is
ancient
Vihaan
guide
still inside him?
appears
Pratham
and
Vanshi,
warns her.
the ancient guide,
If she fails to restore
appears
Vihaan's
and
soul,
warns her.
she will
If she
lose her
fails to
life,
restore
and
Vihaan's
the balance
soul,
of worlds
she
will
will
shatter
lose
forever.
her life,
and the balance of worlds will shatter forever.
Saturday, 8 November 2025, episode 116. Broken and exhausted, Gauri falls to her knees. She feels like her journey has ended, but her family's love reignites her strength. She vows to fight again, even if it costs her everything. Meanwhile, Davansh's darkness deepens. His laughter echoes through the halls, marking the rise of his new empire of shadows. Episode 117. Summoning all her courage, Gauri stabs Daavansh with the sacred dagger. The Rishvamani begins to glow, drawing a divine line he cannot cross. She uses that glowing barrier to keep him contained, even as her tears fall. The war between love and power has only begun. Sunday, November 9th, 2025, episode 118. Veena, deceived by Mohana, breaks the sacred line. Daavansh bursts free, his fury unmatched. Gauri races to secure the Rishvamani, but the temple trembles as a giant moving axe descends, trapping both her and Daavansh. Each second becomes a fight for breath and belief. Episode 119. When Gauri learns that Veena has handed the real Rishvamani to Daavansh, her heart sinks. The mansion shakes as Vihaan's statue, a stone monument long buried, begins to rise from beneath the earth. A haunting light fills the room, signaling that destiny has returned to claim its due. Monday, November 10th, 2025, episode 120. Mohana spins a new web of darkness, trapping Gauri and her family within a cursed boundary. Desperation spreads. In a moment of bravery, Sia pleads with Harsh to let her and Prathamvanshi perform the Prathamjal Puja, a ritual powerful enough to pierce Mohana's magic. Episode 121. As the battle of energy begins, Betalini secretly weakens Mohana's barrier. Gauri seizes the moment, creating a distraction to draw the Danes away. Flames swirl, mantras echo, and the air turns golden as Sia and Prathamvanshi step into the battlefield to fight beside her. Tuesday, November 11th, 2025, episode 122. Prathamvanshi reveals the final key. Gauri must absorb the Dane's own power to defeat Daavansh. As the Ant Katha Vidi halts midway, Mohana and Daavansh prepare a horrifying ritual, the sacrifice of the entire family. Episode 123. But Gauri refuses to give in. Her family unites under her command, chanting in one voice. She tries to lift the Agni Shastra, but the divine weapon burns her hands. Daavansh declares her end, his laughter echoing through the smoke. Yet the spark of hope refuses to die. Wednesday, 12 November 2025, episode 124. A stunning revelation changes everything. Gezer is Gauri's long-lost sister. The truth unlocks the hidden powers within Gauri's ring. As Mohana commands Daavansh to slay the family one by one, Gauri rises again, glowing with divine strength. Episode 125. Using the Rishvamani, Gauri cuts Mohana's enchanted hair, the source of her immortality. Mohana falls, shrieking in defeat. Together, Gauri and Sia unleash a final wave of energy, determined to stop Daavansh before the world burns. Thursday, November 13th, 2025, episode 126. Gauri finally surrenders to Daavansh, not out of fear, but strategy. When he strikes her with the Agni Shastra, Her sacrifice shatters the curse. The darkness fades, and Vihaan awakens, realizing the cost of her love. Together they rewrite their fate, but destiny still holds one last twist. Episode 127. 3 years pass. Vihaan's home is filled with peace once again, until whispers of Mohana return. As the family prepares for his birthday, Bettalini and two Danes secretly attempt to control baby Daavansh, the child born from light and shadow. Friday, November 14th, 2025, episode 128. Vihaan sits alone, lost in memories of Gauri. He believes she is gone forever, unaware that she lives nearby, watching over their son Golu. Hidden in the mist, Gauri swears to protect Golu from Mohana's reach, even if it means staying apart from the man she loves. Episode 129. When a Dayan possesses Harsh and Arjun, chaos returns to the family home. Amidst the confusion, Golu floats into the sky, glowing like a star. His laughter pierces through the darkness, defying every evil eye watching from below. Saturday, November 15th, 2025, episode 130. At dawn, Vihaan finds Golu at his doorstep. For a brief, magical moment, father and son reunite. They laugh, play, and the world feels whole again. But far away, Mohana's cold eyes gleam. She has discovered that Golu is the key to restoring her lost power. Episode 131. Mohana's servant, Dayan Urvi, casts a spell over Vihaan's family, freezing them in obedience. Gauri tries to reach her son, but Urvi blocks her path. As Urvi stretches out to seize Golu, the child slips away again, pure light escaping darkness, leaving Urvi screaming in frustration. The storm has only begun anew. As the eternal war between light and darkness reaches its peak, one truth endures. Love is the greatest power of all. From Gauri's sacrifice to Vihaan's awakening, from the rise of Daavansh to the laughter of Golu, every heartbeat tells a story of courage. Mohana may return, shadows may rise again, but Gauri's legacy burns brighter than any curse. Her love transformed fate itself, and her strength continues through her son. The bridge between worlds, as Golu's laughter echoes across the heavens. One question remains. Will the next generation bring peace or awaken the storm once more? This was the week when love bled, darkness rose, and destiny was rewritten. Until next time, the legend of Gauri and Vihaan continues.